Namaste, yogis. Chris Temple here. Let's come onto our back and just take a moment to squeeze the knees up into the chest. Give yourself a circle around, massaging out the lower back, the glutes, the external hip rotators. And then go ahead and cross your right ankle over your left thigh, interlacing the fingers in front of the shin, or maybe grabbing the hamstring if the shin is too far away. Try to pin your shoulders to the mat, lengthen through the back of the neck, and then breathe. As I draw this left knee closer to me, I send the right knee away from me. Just giving a moment to open up the outside of that right leg, tuning into the sound of your breath. And then switching sides on that, taking left over right, squeezing in and maybe grabbing the hamstring, or I've got the shin here, and then bringing that leg closer to you as you draw the knee further away, breathing here. Keep the jaw relaxed. Tune into the sound of your breath. And then releasing that, grab hold of the outsides of the feet. Take a happy baby. Give yourself a little rock side to side. And then bringing the feet down to the ground, walk the heels in towards your booty. Keep your feet parallel to the outer edges of the mat. Lift your hips up. Interlace your fingers down below. Walk your elbows and shoulders a bit closer to one another, lengthening through the fronts of the hips. Press the pinky fingers into the ground. Try to keep extending through the wrists, through the elbows. And then go ahead and release. Lower yourself down. Hook the hands underneath the creases of the knees and begin to rock forward and back on the spine. Really arching the back or rounding the back so there's no thumping, but more of a smooth massage that happens on the muscles that parallel the spine. Rock on the hands and knees. You can cross the ankles out in front of you or swim your legs off to one side. Coming onto hands and knees, lengthen through the elbows, spin the elbow points back towards the thighs. Feel broadness across the chest as you rock forward, press into fingerprints. As you rock back, pushing into the heels of the palms, take that twice more. Breathing, whatever choices you make. And then dial your fingertips towards the sides of the mat. Push into the heels of the palms to send the back of the heart towards the ceiling, creating a dome in the upper back. Rock yourself side to side. And once again, when I move to the right, I press into my right fingerprints. When I move to the left, left fingerprints. And you can do that once or twice more. And then trying to dial the fingertips back towards the knees. Hands can be slightly wider than the shoulders to allow for extra space. Rock back, see if you can leave the heels of the palms down onto the ground rather than going maybe as far back as you can. Commit to leaving the hands on the mat. And then let's take 3 cow cats here. Inhale, dropping the belly into cow, draw the chest forward, make space in the back of the neck. Exhale, rounding into the spine, looking back towards your navel. Breathing in again, belly drops, back arches. Exhale, dome the back, looking back towards the navel. One more time, inhaling. And then exhaling. Maintain the hands, step the feet back into your plank pose. We'll breathe here for 5. Feel the ribs hugging in, 4. Put a little activity in the fingerprints even here, 3. Try to keep the shoulders drawing back, so a little bit of action in the pectoralis, chest muscles, and then go ahead and lower your knees down. Leaving the hips over the knees, dial your fingertips to face forward, and again, leaving the hips over the knees, walk your hands forward until maybe your forehead touches the ground, or maybe you even tuck the chin towards the front of your mat, and then pressing into the palms to lighten up on the elbows. The elbows can stay down. Just be aware of what your feet feel like behind you. Try to press into the pinky sides of the feet back behind you. And let the heart hammock towards the mat. On your next inhale, we'll come onto the belly. So I'm gonna scoot forward and scoot back to make sure that I stay on the mat. Forehead to the ground, interlacing your fingers behind you, and then making one fist, squeezing the heels of the palms together. Pull the hands off of your butt. Lift the head and the heart up off the ground, maybe the feet lift as well. Pushing into the pelvis, inhaling. Exhale to maintain. 2, just try to maintain an easy breath, even though we're really starting to work, and back bends tend to get the heart pretty thumpy. And then go ahead and release down. Hands under us, push back into child's pose with the knees as wide as the mat, big toes touch. Forehead rests against the ground. Feel the torso, the upper body, kind of snuggling in between the inner thighs. And then on your next inhale, let's rise up on the hands and knees. And then curl the toes, lift the hips back, downward facing dog. Pedal out your dog a bit, sway through the hips. Pressing down into one heel, bend the opposite knee. You could even take that foot up off the ground a little bit so that you're really bringing some more added stretch to the back of the heel that is on the ground. And then switching sides with the same sort of intention. The more that I push my heel towards the ground, the more that I stretch out my calf, which is directly related to the flexibility of my hamstrings. In fact, the entire backside body, anytime you're in a forward fold. Lower both feet to the ground, push your heels towards the earth, stick your fanny back, pushing the bottom of the belly towards the tops of the thighs, letting the head drop in between the elbows. All right, on your inhale, let's rise to tippy toes, take the shoulders over the wrists, plank pose, bend the knees, pull the hips back, downward facing dog. We're rippling through the spine here. Inhale, tippy toes, shoulders ripple forward. Exhale, bend the knees, pull the hips back. Inhale again, shoulders forward. Exhale, pushing back, twice more. Inhale, ripple it in. Exhale, pushing back. Inhale, 2 more times. I'm taking my shoulders out in front of the fingertips a little bit. 1 more time, breathing forward. And exhale. Pushing back. On your next inhale, float the left leg up into the sky. Exhale, bend the knee, draw it over to the right elbow, touch it. Inhale, sweep it back. Exhale, take it in towards your left armpit, shoulders out in front of the fingertips. Inhale, sweep the leg back. And then looking forward, step the foot forward in between your hands so that toes and fingertips align at the front of the mat. Draw the chest forward, keep the back of the neck long, breathing in. And then exhale, drawing the front leg to straighten, bowing the forehead towards the knee. Inhale, rebend the knee, draw the chest forward. Exhale, rounding again into the spine, melting over the front leg. 1 more time. Inhale to pulse, the knee bent. Exhale, coiling in, bowing the head. Inhale, front knee bends. Exhale, step the back foot forward, fold at the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway lengthen up. And then exhale, melt it back down. Bend the knees, sweep the arms up into Utkatasana, fierce pose. Cross the right ankle only in front of that left thigh. We did this on our back. See if you can sit low enough to tap the elbows on the ankle and knee, if not as low as you can, but beam the heart forward, root the tailbone back. On your inhale, lift up, send the right leg to the back of the mat, palms facing down. Get as long as you can from the trailing heel, through the heart, through the back of the neck. And then lower the hands down, step way back into low lunge. Sweep the left leg high into the air, bend the knee, open the hip. Let's take a rock star, dropping just the tippy toe of that foot, up and over. Let the top hand melt down towards the earth, arm heavy in the shoulder socket. Inhale, lift the arm up again. Exhale, hand down, take it across the body, fall in triangle. Straighten the leg out to the side of the mat. Opposite hand comes up, look up towards your thumb. Push your hips up to the sky, bringing the bottom shoulder slightly behind bottom wrist. When the hand lowers down, sweep it high. Dog split. Breathe forward. Three-legged plank, Chaturanga Dandasana. Flip onto the top of the left foot, right foot for upward facing dog. Downward facing dog, curl the toes, lift the hips high and back. On your inhale, float the right leg up into the sky. Exhale, draw the knee across your body, tapping the opposite elbow, left elbow. Sweep the leg back. Knee in towards the right armpit, shoulders out in front of the fingertips, engage the hands. Sweep the leg back. And then stepping that foot forward in between your hands to our runner's lunge, 10 fingers. Back body is long, breathe in. Exhale, straightening the front leg, melting the spine forward. Inhale, rebend the front knee. Lengthen again through the backside body. Exhale, straightening, lengthening through the front leg. One more time, full pulse. Inhale, knee bends. And exhale, draw it back. Inhale, front knee bends. Exhale, step to the front of the mat. Forward fold, big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Halfway lift up, lengthening through. Exhale, melt it back down. Inhale, arms up, Utkatasana, fierce pose. This time crossing left ankle in front of right thigh. Sit low, maybe the elbows tap. Heart beams forward, single point of focus out in front of you to help maintain balance in the mind, which will manifest itself in balance of the body. Lift up, send the leg back, hands back by your sides. Warrior three-like pose, getting as long as you can from the trailing heel through the crown of the head. Hands to the earth, stepping way back to dog split. Send the right leg, bend the knee, open the hip, take a rock star. Using that momentum to create the stretch through the side body. Then inhale, arm to the sky. Exhale as the hand lands, send the leg across into your fallen triangle, lengthening through. Find that lift in the hip as you push into the earth. Take a breath. Exhale as the hand lands, the leg threads back into dog split. Breathe forward, three-legged plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe here for 5. Press into the fingertips. Push into the index knuckle pad. Feel the elbows spinning down towards the earth, biceps away from the ears. Getting as long as you can from tailbone to hands, or I like to think of it as hands to tailbone, pushing the front of the mat away from me to get my sit bones as far back as possible, and then tipping the sit bones up towards the ceiling. On your next inhale, bring the big toes to touch, shoulders over the wrists, look forward, bend the knees, pull back, breathe everything out, and then step, hop, or float to the front of the mat to a halfway lift. Exhale, melt it down. Belly pulls in, arms up high, Urdhva Hastasana. Lower the hands by your sides in Samastitihi. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, dive it down, forward fold. Really letting everything melt down. Inhale, lengthen up and lift. Plant the hands if you're ready to hop back to chaturanga. If not, step to plank, chaturanga from there. Upward facing dog. If you're slightly behind, don't worry about it. Downward facing dog, because we've got 5 breaths here. Inhaling 1. Exhale, pushing the heart towards the feet. Inhale for 2. Exhale, pressing the heels towards the earth. Inhale for 3. Pushing the bottom of the belly towards the tops of the thighs. 4, you can keep a slight bend in the knees if you need to. And 5. Bring big toes to touch, maybe feet slightly forward, shoulders over the wrists, look out in between the hands. Bend the knees, pull the hips back. Maintain the gaze at the front of the mat as you step or hop. And land it, halfway lift. Exhale, let it go. Inhale, arms up, reach high. Exhale, hands lowering down, Samastitihi. Let's take that again. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, dive it forward. Inhale, lift. Hands down. Try to land lightly if you're hopping. Step and lower if you're not. Downward facing dog. Here we go. A breath of 5. Maybe close the eyes. Move your awareness to your third eye. Allowing the sound of your Ujjayi breath to bring peace into the mind, into the body, into the soul. Letting everything else that's going on in your life slip away so that you can be fully present in this moment here. And what a gift that is, just to be fully present in any given moment. On your next breath in, feet slightly forward, big toes touch, ripple the shoulders forward, look forward, bend the knees, stay looking forward, bottom of the breath. Keep the knees hugging as you get to the front of the mat, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, arms up. Hands lower down. One more time. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, dive it in. Inhale, prepare. And then your weighted down dog. Take your time, full breaths. 5 breaths here. 3. 2. Last one. Bring the big toes touch, feet slightly forward. Ripple forward, look forward. Bend the knees, stay looking forward. Squeeze the inner thighs, bottom of the exhale. Step up and halfway lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, arms reach. Hands by your side, mountain pose, samasti, tihi, pause here. All right, for our arm balance, let's bend the knees, sweep the arms up. Utkatasana, fierce pose. We're going to figure 4 right ankle in front of left thigh. And this is how we started our first figure 4 chair. And then stay here, or if you're feeling like you want more of a stretch, try to bring your hands to the ground. Yeah, if this standing knee needs to bend, no problem. What I'm going to do is start to bend my standing knee so that I can wrap the right foot around the left tricep. I'm going to take the weight forward so that my shin presses against the backs of my arms. And then I'm looking forward and maintaining an easy breath. I'm going to teeter the weight forward so my back foot can come off the ground. Stay looking forward and then lengthen the lifted leg if that's possible. Stay here for 3, just trying to breathe with it. 2, and 1. You can step way back and then maybe take a down dog split. Looking forward to the front of the mat. Bend the standing leg. Take a one-legged hop and then land your feet together. Ragdoll. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, hands down. Setting up for our second side. Bend the knees, sweep the arms up into that chair pose. We'll take the other side, crossing the ankle in front of the thigh, left over right, hands to the heart. You can stay just like this, or once again, tapping down. If you want to work with your flexibility, palms to the earth, maybe just working with that. If you'd like more, push the palms in, elbows bend, which send the left shin into the right hip creases. I'm wrapping my foot around the tricep, shoulder of that right arm, and then I teeter the weight forward. If I can get it far forward enough, I can start to float the back leg, gazing out in front, creating length. 3, 2, 1. Step way back. Take the dog split. Look to the front of the mat. Take a little hop. And then land it all. Forward fold. Take a moment, make fists, dial out the wrists. And if you'd like to, slide your palms facing up underneath the toes. Press the toes into the wrists. And then pull yourself down over your legs. Give the head a little nod, yes. And a shake, no. Take a breath in through your nose. Flutter out your lips. Awesome. Release your hands from and make your way back to downward facing dog. On your inhale, float the left leg up. Draw the shin to the front of your mat. Sending it behind your wrists. Slide your right foot way back. Untuck the toes. Walk your hands back by your hips. Peel that beautiful heart of yours towards the sky. And then with your exhale, try to fold in between the knee and the ankle of that front leg. If you can take your arms out in front of you, wonderful. If not, wonderful. Elbows underneath the shoulders, or if you need to put something to support you, couch pillow, block, bolster. But you want to try to get into this full surrender as much as you can. And the full surrender doesn't mean how deep you're going into the pose necessarily. It just means that wherever you're at today, surrender into the fact that you're doing the work to get as deep into this as possible. But you're also surrendering to the fact that the results come when they're ready to come. We can't force the results to come faster, which will only lead to injury. Let's take 5 breaths here, inhaling. Exhale it out long. Breathing 2. Feel that surrender come over your whole body. Breathing 3. 4. And 5. Take a moment, walk your hands back underneath your shoulders. Rock the weight into the left hip to circle the right leg to the outside of the thigh. We're coming into our seated twist. So bring your heels towards your seat. Make sure this right big toe mound stays pushing into the ground. All right, left elbow is going to wrap around right shin. Or if you want to take the elbow to the outside of the knee, you can do that. Right hand is going to go back behind us. Sitting up nice and tall, looking over your back shoulder, breathing in. Twisting from the belly, guiding your heart towards the back of your mat. 2. And 1. And go ahead and release that twist. Counter twisting over to the other side. And then passing through the middle. Take both your feet out in front of you. Bend the knees. Hands by your sides, fingertips facing forward if that's all right for you. And then just coming up into our altar pose, lifting the hips, pushing into the hands, really trying to stretch out the chest and the tops of the shoulders, front of the shoulders. Let's stay here for 3 breaths. 2. And 1. Release down. Booty to the earth. You can cross your ankles in front of you and rock forward to hands and knees, or some other way to get you on hands and knees. No problems there. Downward facing dog. Let's breathe forward to plank pose. Take a vinyasa here. Just a nice wash through the spine. Back in a downward facing dog. On your inhale, we'll take the right leg up. And in that same way, figure 4ing the shin behind the wrists. Once the leg touches down, it's by sliding the back foot further back that you might get a little more space in that right hip. Eventually untucking the toes, trying to keep the top of the thigh pointing towards the ground. Hands by your sides, open the chest. And then when you're ready to, melting it down, forward fold. Forehead to the ground, arms out in front of you, allowing yourself to be heavy. Allowing the weight of the world to melt off of your body. Every time you breathe out, getting deeper and deeper into a state of nowness. At least for these 5 breaths, let nothing else be happening in your life except you taking care of yourself and empowering yourself with these simple movements and the breath. And admittedly, these movements aren't particularly simple. Two more. Slowly back the hands up underneath the shoulders. Rock the weight into that right hip to circle the left leg all the way around, stepping it to the outside of the thigh. Sitting up nice and tall, once again, option to just wrap the elbow around the shin, or if you'd like to, take the elbow to the outside of the knee. Try to keep this left booty cheek sealed to the ground. Taking that hand behind you, sitting up tall. I didn't mention this on the first side, but if you spin the elbow towards your body, it will help you release the shoulder away from the ear. Sitting up tall, breathing in big. Exhale for the twist. 2 more. And last. Releasing your counter twist, bowing the head over towards the opposite side of the mat. And then coming up, bring both feet out in front of you. This time, let's make enough space for us to roll onto our back. And then we're gonna walk our feet close to our booty, like we did before. We did bridge pose with our hands underneath us at the beginning. If that serves, you can do that again. I'm gonna take the hands up by my ears, fingertips facing the shoulders, hugging the elbows in over the wrist, hugging the knees over the ankles, breathing in. And nothing too forceful lifting up. If you're not coming up all the way, just try to get your head up off of the ground. Sending your heart towards the top of your mat or towards the back of the mat. And then trying to feel the tripods, the feet evenly rooting into the ground. The way I try to work into my back bend is I'm moving the back bend away from the lower back and trying to send it up into the back of the heart. 3, 2, 1. Tuck the chin into the chest. Lower yourself all the way down. Lengthen the back of the neck onto the mat and just give your knees a little sweep side to side. And then from there, when you're ready, lengthen your legs long, feet as wide as the mat. Turn your palms to face up. Maybe push into the elbows to lift the upper back, squeeze the shoulder blades behind you, and then releasing into your Shavasana. Stay here as long as you like. If you have the luxury of taking 5 whole minutes, God forbid we took 5 whole minutes of doing nothing, feel free to do that. And I'll see you next time. Namaste.